Thank you very much, Director of the UNESCO Chair in Distance Education at UNED, my friend Ángeles Sánchez Elvira. Yes, indeed, this morning I was there in person. In the afternoon it was not possible, but now I can connect with all of you. And, well, I am delighted. I am delighted because the conference has been a success. The conference organized by the UNESCO Chair of Distance Education, the COED, has been a success. And the main culprit of this is the person we are seeing on the screen, Dr. Ángeles Sánchez Elvira. I already told you this morning, and I said it publicly, that please do not stay here, because this group that has been generated, well, 16 UNESCO chairs, but there may be more in the future of those 41 that in some way are related to topics close to the themes of our UNESCO chair. Let it not stop here, because this can be a group where exciting synergies can be generated. The contributions that each one has made, if collaborations are established, we can go very far in this changing world, so decisive for the future of education. Well, I do not want to go on talking about this, because I have come here to speak only on the Ibero-American Journal of Distance Education. Am I sharing well? Yes, you can see it perfectly. Well, look, the Ibero-American Journal of Distance Education, RIED, which in some way, its acronym also coincides with the name Revista Ibero-Americana de la Educación Digital, although the official name is Revista Ibero-Americana de Educación a Distancia, a journal published by the Asociación Ibero-Americana de Educación Superior a Distancia, AIESAD. And this journal, fundamentally, for those who do not know it, what it aims to, the fundamental objective is the international dissemination of all the advances in research and innovation within the field of open, flexible and distance teaching and learning, e-learning and technologies applied to education. Applied to education, and always preferably referred to university context. This journal, since its creation, has been, as can be seen in the caption, linked to the UNESCO Chair in Distance Education, because when I was commissioned to create this journal from AISAD, well, I was the director of the UNESCO Chair in Distance Education, and the objectives of both instruments were very similar. So it was a good thing that synergies could be established because the same person was responsible. Now that the person in charge of the UNESCO Chair, the UNESCO Chair Executive, is Ángeles Sánchez Elvira, as we also continue with this type of collaboration. Good. The journal logically has a lot behind it. Part of the 35 years that we are celebrating since the journal was called here below as Revista Ibero-Americana de Educación Superior a Distancia in the year 88, and then 10 years later already with the current format. The current format is 25 years and 35. That is to say, a journal with a long history. And it really has behind it, for example, if you want to look at its website, for example, the editorial and scientific board of the journal, perhaps by way of, apart from the fact that there are links to each of the names of the distinguished members of this editorial board, perhaps to show the relationship with everything we are doing among the members of this editorial board today, Professors Delgado Clos, Macril, Marisol Ramirez Montoya, Ángeles Sánchez Elvira, Albert Sangra. That is, many of the participants in today's sessions are part of our editorial board. You can check it out. I do not want to spend a minute more on this. Look, maybe just to take a look at what we have been doing, if we want to go back to the year 17, we were talking about MOOCs. Well, 2 previous monographs had already been published on MOOCs. I think that at that time we were the magazine that published the most about MOOCs. It was the right thing to do. And there was the network, the effective integration of mobile devices, the blended learning revolution. Towards a digital university, another monograph, are the different monographs that have been published. We are already in the 19th with debates on technology and education. We are already in the 19th with social networks and education, learning, service, and digital technologies. In the 20th, we were still in the second of the 20th with learning analytics and data-driven education. See that the data are very close to everything we have been talking about throughout this day. Advanced technologies to face the challenge of educational innovation, year 21, evaluation of digital education and digitalization of assessment in 22, education in audiovisual and multi-screen K in 22. We have also just heard from my dear friend Marisol Ramirez Montoya. I send her a big hug from here. Complex Digital Horizons in the Future of Education 4.0. Rory McGreal was also coordinating this issue. We also listened to him a moment ago. Competences and innovative methodologies for digital education. We are already in the 23rd year. That was the first issue of the 23rd and the second of the 23rd year. Evidence of learning and educational practices mediated by digital technologies. And now in a few days, it will be 2024. Well, the 2024th issue of Tendencias en la Educación Digital is already published. Here is the issue that has already been published. It belongs to January. This one with the singularity that it is the first issue that is already published in bilingual. That is from this issue of 2024. All our articles will appear in Spanish or in Portuguese, if it is in its original language and in English. The infographics in English and in Spanish and the HTML that is about to be published in this issue will also be in Spanish and English. These are the articles, I think, of great interest that have been published in this issue, which is hot, as we can appreciate, and perhaps I do encourage you to take a look at the first one because it is what we have talked about the most throughout the day today. The new reality of education in the face of the advances of generative artificial intelligence, I think it complements much of what we have been talking about today. Well, I say that the novelty is that RIED has become a bilingual journal. Do you know which issue is now being evaluated for publication? It corresponds to July 24th. But I believe we will have it published by May. Well, look at what we are evaluating, the number of articles that have arrived. It talks about collaborative learning in digital environments. This is what we are evaluating now, and there is another part of studies and research very related to all the topics we have been evaluating. There are no articles published right now because the avalanche, the great avalanche of articles that have reached us is a complex management, but this is what we are evaluating at the moment. As we do not stop, we have already convened the next edition. We have already convened what is the next edition. Here it is. Learning in new digital contexts. This is the next issue that corresponds. I am already lost with the whole issue, volume 28.1, that is January 25th, but naturally the call for papers ends in May. Take a look at the topics we are proposing. Let's see if you have followed today's conference and if you are familiar with any of them. Evidence of learning with artificial intelligence, learning achievements through robotics, computational thinking, evidence of learning achieved through metaverse, virtual reality, evidence of learning, learning approaches simulation-based, synchronous, asynchronous, adaptive, evidence of collaborative learning, socialization, interaction through online gamification, open educational resources. Gentlemen, it seems that we have been copying everything we have been talking about today. Here is RIED taking up the challenge of the possibility. Here, as we always do, we have two calls. This one is closed. We invite you to send the articles during the month of May 2024. Do not send them before. The deadline is June 1st. Avoid sending them before. And here you have this call available to everyone. We always make two calls, as I said, one for May, the other for November, which then correspond to January and July of each year. Why do you think it is justified for us to call this magazine Ibero-American? Well, obviously it was ISAT's decision. I was entrusted with the direction, the generation, the creation of this journal with this name. which is the official one, Revista Ibero-Americana de Educación a Distancia. And if it is an Ibero-American Journal of Digital Education, so much the better. Why Ibero-American? Well, perhaps you may find it curious. See here, in this link, this has been collected since January 22, 2002. Do you see the visits to our journal since January 2022? Where does it come from? Look, there are 7 countries that have visited us more than 10,000 times. There have been more than 10,000 visits from 7 countries. Here, Mexico is at the top, followed by Spain. Then we have up to 26 countries. Up to 26, here is the 26th, Honduras, with 1,000 or more visits. Honduras, but perhaps, well, perhaps yes. What may be of more interest is that among the first 30 countries, 31st countries, 22 are Ibero-American. Nicaragua is the last one that appears here. 22 are Ibero-American. 8 are outside the Ibero-American area. So, if out of 30, 22 are Ibero-American, it seems that the interest of our journal is fundamentally based on Ibero-America, beyond the fact that we accept articles from all over the world. We will publish all the good ones, no matter which country they come from. Why, I would ask myself now, why is it interesting to publish in RIED? That is, why is it interesting to publish in RIED for those people who may be listening to us, linked to the different UNESCO chairs that have spoken today? Well, there are many journals, yes, there are, and some of them are very good. Look, this is RIED. RIED this year is located in the first quartile of the JCR with impact factor. In education, it is number 3 out of 74 journals in Spain and number 32 out of 269 worldwide. Not bad at all. In the other Clarivet indicator, the JCI, we are also in Q1. In education, 4 out of 74. 18 out of 742 worldwide. And Scopus, the other important metric beyond JCR. The SJR of Scopus, we are also Q1, the 3rd in Spain in education. And in computer science, we are 1st in Spain. The site score, which is the other Scopus indicator, education, we are in the 87th percentile, and in computer science in the 69th percentile. And we are in position 4 out of 631 world journals in education according to this index. The SNP, which is also a critical index, well, it has the corresponding metrics. I am not going to explain them. And now, this is from now, in November 2023, we have a site score of 6.6. We had 5.3 throughout the previous year, and we already have in the 23rd a 6.6. Well, and so are all the other metrics. So I think it would certainly be interesting to publish the backfill. And I will end by simply indicating that the journal is there, the reception of articles is there. I can already tell you that since the journal has positioned itself in this situation, in the most important metrics, the number of articles that reach us is making our management very complex. There are many articles that arrive, therefore I reject them, and the rejection of articles is also very high. But the scientists who are part of the different UNESCO chairs related to this topic of the RIED, I believe that they can have possibilities to publish in this journal, which, well, as I say, is closely linked to the UNESCO chair in distance education since its birth. I believe that this leaves a perspective, and I will end as I began. I would like to congratulate my UNESCO chair in distance education, its holder, Dr. Angeles Sanchez Elvira, for the initiative she has taken to organize this conference. And I repeat, as I said this morning, please do not stay here. A very important and relevant group has been generated, and I believe that this must be continued. You know where we are, you know where the journal is. Angeles, thank you very much for the invitation.